With JavaScript, you can use a loop within a loop, and that's what we call nested loops. So let's see how we can use them. Here I will use a for loop. For the first loop, I will use the variable I as a counter. Then here, let's create a second one but with another variable as a second counter. And here, let's console log the variable of I. Here, let's console log the first counter. Then let's console log the second counter. Then let's console log the multiplication. Let's move to the browser. And here, this is what we have. So let's explain how nested loops work. We first start with this loop. So now I is equal to 0. Then we run whatever we find in this block of code. In this case, we have another loop. So here we go to the second loop. So remember, I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 0. We run the second loop until this condition is no longer met. That's why we have I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 0, then I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 1, and so on. When we finish running the second loop, we go and execute the second iteration for this outer loop. So now I is equal to 1, and we go and execute the second loop. I is equal to 1, j is equal to 0. I is equal to 1, j is equal to 1, I is equal to 1, j is equal to 2. And when the second loop finishes, we go and execute the next iteration of the outer loop, and so on. At the beginning, this might seem really confusing, but with just a little bit of practice, it will become really easy for you. Let's make a multiplication table with nested loops. So let's do it together. Here, let's change the condition, and also here. And here, let's add a console log and say the multiplication table for this variable and combine the variable. And here, let's remove all of this and let's console log this message. And now we just created the multiplication table. Great.